Hello. It's been a while. It's been a while. So far I'm alive. During the pandemic, a lot of crazy things have been going on lately. We're gonna be moving again. We're looking at places to move. Somewhere with land. Yeah, that's right. I sound like Lex Luthor. Land. I hate those movies. It's kind of funny though, because someone asked me on the Discord. I don't get on Discord that much anymore. And someone asked me, like, who's your favorite? How would you rank your favorite actors and actresses that played in Superman? And I pretty much I picked some of the names that a lot of people were kind of like, good luck. Thank you, love. I picked sort of the people that they didn't really expect to rank as your favorite Superman cast members. And I picked like John Shea as my favorite Lex Luthor, even though a lot of people are like Michael Rosenbaum, and Gene Hackman. But John Shea is sort of like the underrated one. Like he played Lex in like one season, and he made like recurring appearances. He played Lex in Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, and I have the full I have all 4 seasons. Still waiting for season 5. Because the thing that aggravated me with Crisis on Infinite Earths was like they could have brought Dean Cain in Crisis, him and Terry Hatcher, and sort of like give it a proper epilogue ending. But they didn't. And I know a lot of people are like, Dean Cain's out of shape. It's like, no, I watched Fox News when he was on. That he's not out of shape. He's he's just an older dude. Like, he's an older dude. Like, that's how they look. I'm old. We always don't get to keep the best shape, even though, now I'm like working out because I'm bored out of my fucking mind half the time in my house, I'm not gonna say like I'm bored out of my fucking mind half the time. I'm doing crazy stuff like writing and checking up on everybody, even though that person called me a prick. I'm still checking up on you during this crazy, stupid ass pandemic. And the thing is, that's who I sort of picked to play Lex. Perry White, Lane Smith. Lane Smith is one of my favorite character actors. He was in My Cousin Vinny as the prosecutor. Lane Smith is one of my favorites as Perry. If you ever watch like the films or the cartoons or the comics, like the comics do flush out Perry, but in a live action performance, you never seen an actor really give the character, a personality, character traits. Like you don't really like. Lane Smith really gave Perry White a lot of being relatable. They made him sort of Midwestern. He's an Elvis Presley fan, and You know, instead of like the Great Caesar's ghost, it's Great Shades of Elvis. Which I love that, like the way, especially the way he says it, like, it's just, that's the thing I really dig with, even though, like, the guy who played Perry White in Smallville was Mr. Green in Clue, Lane Smith's my favorite, by far. The Kents, Eddie Jones and Kay Callan are my favorites. Like, even though Kevin Costner and Diane Lane played Jonathan, Martha, and Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice, Eddie Jones and Kay Callan just, they warmed my heart as Jonathan and Martha. Like, they, like, if you ever watch, like, they're sort of like in the catalog with like Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle. Like, they play a married couple and they're so convincing. Like, you literally believe that they're, a married couple, but they're not. Like, that's kind of the funny thing about it. Like, the best way I remember in an interview they talked about how, they can work with each other is because they known each other for so many years. Like, they know everything about each other. Like, and that's the amazing thing about it, is like, if you ever watch them in an episode, like, they are so in sync with each other. They click. And my favorite moment of Lois and Clark is Adam West showing up. Adam West makes an appearance in Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman as a reporter who hates Superman. And that was my favorite moment of the show, where it's Superman, I think it's Superman getting prosecuted for a crime or something, I forget, and Adam West shows up as a reporter trashing on Superman. And that was my favorite moment of Adam West, not as Batman. I mean, besides the Big Bang Theory, where, he says, like, I'm the best Batman, and Howard goes like, well, Bale owned the phrase, I'm Batman. And Adam West goes, well, I didn't have to say I'm Batman. I just showed up and people know who I am. It was just, which is true. Which is really true. If you ever watched the first episode of Batman, he goes into this, club, and everybody stops and goes, Batman. And he just stands there going like, yep. And, it was funny. Like, and Adam West is my favorite definitive Batman. Like, I love the 60s Batman show. And anytime I watch it, I feel like, man, I belong there more than where I belong here. But I love that version of Batman. Like, I know a lot of people love that dark and gritty, I'm Batman type thing, but I love the 60s Batman. Like, that to me is like the most fun, exciting version of Batman. And when you watch the show, the 60s show, and the same goes with like Lois and Clark, when you watch both shows, and I could sit through Lois and Clark, I can't sit through the Christopher Reeve Superman films that much anymore. And I know a lot of people are like, that's sacrilegious, but it's like, I enjoy the show, because like it's the same as the 60s Batman show. When you watch both shows, you can tell that the cast enjoy being around each other. Even in interviews, like Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher talked about how much they just enjoyed being in that show and how much they enjoy working with everyone. And even though they're like, we want to do a season 5, and it's just like, for me, it's just like, you lost Eddie Jones, you lost Lane Smith. It would just not be right. It wouldn't be the same. It's like if they ever did like the 60s Batman movie, another animated film. It just would not work. Even if you get Ralph Garman to do the voice of Batman, because he does a killer Adam West impression, it wouldn't work. Because Adam West is Batman, and it wouldn't be the same, and for me, I enjoy watching both shows, even Gotham. I love Gotham. Like, Gotham's one of my favorite shows. And it's the same way with them. Like, you could tell, like, once the show ended, like, you could tell their hearts were broken, that they weren't going to be working together. They weren't, they'll be around each other, because most shows reunite to do panels. Like, Smallville just did it. But, I still think the problem with Lois and Clark when it ended the same way as Batman 66. There's so many parallels between each other. They were going to do another season. The networks canceled the shows and was like, yeah, you're going to do another season. And that's kind of how it ended for them. Like, Lois and Clark ended on a cliffhanger, and Batman 66 sadly just ran out of money. Like, they just... Even though, like, ABC canceled and NBC was going to do another season, that the sets were torn down. Like, basically, like, you ain't going to do another season. But, anyway, it was just sort of that way. Like, it's sad that it ended that way. My favorite Superman, I'd say Dean Cain. Like, I like Brandon Routh, I like Henry Cavill and all of them, but Dean Cain gets he gets forgotten. He's the dude that carried the Superman banner when nobody else wanted to carry it. Yeah. Speaking of the Flash movie, which everybody thought is canceled, Ezra Miller gone. Apparently it's still happening. Like, part of me hopes Ezra Miller stays as the Flash just to piss off everybody. Because it's like everybody, like, I can't defend what Ezra Miller did. But part of me hopes he stays as the Flash just to piss off everybody. Now I think he finally got fans. Just leave him alone. You just had to grab one by the throat and just be like, "You leave me alone." It's just, that was the stupidest video I have ever seen. Like, I love what one person wrote, like, pandemic's happening, even Ezra Miller, the chillest fucker, is out of control. that made me laugh. But here's the thing about it. Like, most celebrities will hit people or choke them. No one messed with Adam West. Adam West would hit somebody so hard, words would pop out of nowhere. But I never seen Adam West hit anybody. I think that's why a lot of people are just afraid that he would hit somebody and words would pow. I remember somebody made an art piece. I forget who did the art. I've been looking for it for a while. Somebody did a Batman drawing of, like, Batman 66, and it's like Batman, there's two thugs, or I forget how many. But it was this really cool art piece somebody did. It was Batman 66 beating up thugs, and he punches one thug so hard, the other one says, pow. Like, I forget who did that. I've been looking for that everywhere. I remember seeing it once. I thought it was so cool, and I totally forget who drew it or did it. It was on DeviantArt. I forget who did it. I really loved that drawing. It was so cool. Like, like, if there's ever like one thing I want to see in like Injustice, since they do Batman 66 on the Arkham video games, and they can't even do it for Xbox, which pisses me off because, if they ever did that, like if they ever like, I wish Arkham, the Rocksteady Studios would just like, they released a skin for like Flashpoint Batman for PlayStation. Can they please release Batman 66 for the Xbox? You got Burt Ward, Robin. You got Julie Newmar, Catwoman. Give me Adam West. That's one thing. And we got the Batmobile. Just release it. I will pay $4.99 for it. Just let me have it. Let me have this version of Batman so I could fucking drive around Gotham as this Batman beating up thugs, whatever. Just let me have it. Like, the game's been out for like, what, 5-6 years now? Let me have this one. Like, why does it always have to be PlayStation exclusive? Like, I have nothing against PlayStation. Like, my brother-in-law owns a PlayStation. I have an Xbox because I'm cheap. I mean, it's honestly true. Like, they release Xboxes cheaper quickly, I mean, I'm not cheap, but yeah, I am kind of cheap. I'm a cheapskate. But anyway, that's what I just want. I just want that version of Batman, But, what's in that? Adam West, yeah, Howard mentioning, all we gotta do is worry about Affleck, and Adam West is like, what's an Affleck? Yeah, I do remember. It's kind of funny though, because he, like, there's some, like, one thing that I always mentioned about Adam West was, like, you didn't know if he was, like, joking or telling the truth, like, where he says, like, everybody knows, I didn't have to say I'm Batman, because everybody knew, like, the fans in Julie Newmar's bungalow. Yeah, like, that was the funny thing about it, like, like that, like, there's so many things. I remember one book I saw, speaking of Adam West, since we're in the Adam West, talking about Adam West a lot. He actually did a comic book, which was so crazy. And I remember somebody, like, he did a biography, and somebody turned it into a comic book, which was so insane, titled The Misadventures of Adam West. And it was really insane. Like, it looks really cool. Like, I never got to read it. And I think one of these days I'm going to buy it and just read it. I don't know if it's like a comic book or it's like a biography or something, like. So, like, part of me wants to read it, like, the other part of me wants to read the biography. But they made it into like a movie called The Misadventures of Adam and Bert. Which was really interesting because, yeah, I think they turned his biography into like a comic, The Misadventures of Adam and Bert. I never got to read it, so I'll probably buy it one of these days. And I came close like once to meeting Adam West. Him, Burt Ward, Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather. I remember I told this story before, and it really it's one of those things I met Bob Gibson. I don't know, a lot of people are like, who the hell's Bob Gibson? He's a pitcher. He pitched for the Cardinals. He was by far the greatest pitcher ever in Cardinal history. Yeah, there's some people are like, Chris Carpenter. Yeah, Carpenter's one of them. Wainwright, which was supposed to be his final season, but apparently next season will probably be his final season, if there is a next season. I don't know. Hopefully. I know they talked about wanting to bring the season now, but I don't know how the hell they could fit 162 games since we missed a month. Almost a month. A couple weeks. 3-4 weeks, I think. I don't know, it's been a while. And so I met Bob Gibson when Adam West was going to be in St. Louis. Him, Burt Ward, Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather. I saved up money and I was like, I'm gonna go to WizardCon because that's where it's at. We don't have Comic-Con, we have WizardCon. And it's funny though, the Penguin from Gotham was supposed to be here. Him and Solomon Grundy, and it's a shame it wasn't on a Monday. They were going to be there, but they, had to cancel because, Corona. So, Adam West, Burt Ward, Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather, they were going to be there. And I saved up money. I saved up enough money to, get into the con, get into the Q&A. That was basically it. And meet Adam West and get his, autograph and all that. I saved up enough money for that. A day or two later, my truck broke down. So bad that smoke was coming into the car, out of the engine. I was just like, fuck. The truck broke down. And I remember just being so upset between the truck and knowing that I have to trade this son of a bitch in to get a new car. Which I did. And it cost me. And I was just so aggravated. Because I was just I wanted to meet Adam West, Burt Ward, Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather. For those who don't know who Lee Merriweather is, she played Catwoman in the Batman the movie. I was just so aggravated. I wanted to meet Adam West and ask him a question of what was Cesar Romero like on set? Because you always hear about Burgess Meredith. You hear about the Riddler. Vincent Price was also another question I wanted to ask as well. I mean, you hear all about these individuals. But Cesar Romero, you never hear much about because he was sort of a mystery. He was a very private, reclusive person to the point where people didn't know anything about him. That was the thing about it. He was very private. But he was also the first and only Latin actor to play the Joker. I mean, he was the Latin from Manhattan, And that's a funny, interesting thing about it was he was the only Latin actor to play the Joker, which is so fascinating. I mean, there isn't another actor who's Latino to play the Joker, which is so fascinating because Cesar Romero left such a big impact on the Joker. And it's sad that a lot of people don't regard him that much anymore. They always go like Nicholson, Ledger, Hamill, Joaquin Phoenix, who's gone fucking crazy as well. We'll talk about that later. But they never talk about Cesar Romero, which is a crime to me. Like, anytime somebody asks me, like, who's your favorite Joker, I always go, like, Cesar Romero. And they're like, oh, he was too cartoony and campy. I was just like, that's the whole point of the Joker. He's a bit cartoony, but crazy and violent. You know, like, that's the thing that's kind of sad. And it's actually funny, though. Like, you know, with my cat, Cooper, I should have named him Caesar, because he was... I named him after Alice Cooper, which is funny, though. I should have named him Caesar. After Cesar Romero, because Cooper had so many kids, it's unbelievable. And holy shit. Speaking of, hold on. Alright, I'm here. I see like this big ass, you know, body of hanging out of a tree, and it was it was Alfred, my outdoor cat. I see like this big fucking body and tail like climbing down, and it was Alfred, and he had a bird in his mouth. Oh man, not another one. Like, I'm not making this up. Like, this past week, like after the last episode, I had to clean up 2 dead birds out of my yard. Like, where I put the food bag down to feed them. One of the cats, last one it was Romeo. Then it was Edward. Now it's going to be Alfred. Dropped 2 dead birds in front of me as I was filling up the food bowls and all that. And I was just thinking, like, why? So, throughout the time, I was like, like, getting a shovel, picking up the birds, and like throwing it in the woods. But I threw it in I threw it into one person who lives behind me, their backyard. I just flung that sumbitch bird, and it just went. It flew in their backyard. It was just, and next thing you know, it's less worser than the time where my Yorkie Shih Tzu miniature pinscher rolled up in one, Jazzy Marie Boogers, left a dead possum on my bed. And now with these cats, if they leave me a horse's head, shit just got real. So all of a sudden, like, I seen like Alfred like climb down like he's Predator. Yeah, if you know the movie Predator, where, you know, they hide in the trees. Climb down from the one tree, and I had to like look out the window, going like, what the fuck is that? Like I thought it was like a cryptoid monster or something, but it was him, because he's a big ass, bulky cat, and he had a bird in his mouth. So, those cats are like... So, anyway, speaking of Joaquin Phoenix, let's get to the other Joker. crazy. Joaquin. So, Joaquin, there's two different stories. Like, he talked about that prisoners in jail should be free due to the coronavirus, but there's one story. It's kind of like, when I heard him say that, I was just like, part of me goes like, does he know what he's saying, or is he high or something? I mean, I could support him on that animals shouldn't be tortured, killed, and eaten. I do agree with him on that. Especially now, like the way food prices are. I'm just like, you know, $16 for a fucking hamburger is not worth it. Like, but there's this one story that came up, and we talked about it before. We actually read part of the script, and I had to quit reading it because my mind was just like, yeah. Darren Aronofsky's Batman fell apart because he wanted Joaquin Phoenix as Batman, and the studio didn't. Last year's Joker, Joaquin Phoenix took the character, made iconic many times, and reinvented it once again in an incredible Oscar-winning new shape. And his Arthur Fleck provided Phoenix a firm fit in the grittier end of the DC universe. In another world, he could have ended up playing the Joker's crime-fighting counterpart. The star was pegged as the potential Batman in Darren Aronofsky's Batman film, who was tapped to direct the film by Warner Brothers in the early 2000s due to his success of Requiem for a Dream. Alas, Aronofsky's Bat Vision wasn't to be, but in a new issue of Empire, he opened up about his plans at the time, how far they were different of the studios, and it turns out Warner Brothers wanted more of a clean-cut Bruce Wayne. The studio wanted Freddie Prinze Jr., and I wanted Joaquin Phoenix, Aronofsky recalled. I'm glad they didn't go with their plan. I'm sorry, Freddie Prinze Jr. sucks as an actor. I'm sorry, like, I know a lot of people love Freddie Prinze, his dad, Freddie Prinze Sr., who was in Chico and the Man. But Freddie Prinze Jr. sucks as an actor. Like, I know now he's hosting like the new DC Universe show involving board games and stuff like that. But he was good in I Know What You Did Last Summer, because he got killed, I think he did. I don't know. I don't remember. No, he didn't. He was in the sequel. I think it was Sarah Michelle Gellar who got killed. His wife got killed in that film, which is kind of irony and funny. She only got killed because she was busy fighting vampires and demons and Buffy, okay? I love that show, by the way. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I don't know if anybody's ever watched it. I love that fucking show. I remember as a kid watching it, and I remember watching it as a kid. My sister and her friends made fun of me for watching it because I loved Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy. Like, I was such a big fan of Sarah Michelle Gellar. I just loved her in like every film. I seen every film she was in, including Buffy, because I was such a big fan of the show. My sister just made fun of me for it. But I love the show. It was so much fun watching it, and I was so sad and heartbroken that it ended. And now they did like the comic books, which continues the show, and I just never got around to reading them because I don't really care. So I watched the show so much. It was just my favorite character in it was Spike, who it was funny though, Spike and Drusilla, who started out as the villains, and Drusilla ended up leaving Spike because Spike, didn't want to do evil stuff anymore. He just kind of wanted to sort of step away from doing evil stuff. And he ended up like helping Buffy and fight villains because Angel, who was another vampire, went on to do his own spin-off show, which sucked. I'm sorry. I know people loved the spin-off show, but that show was fucking atrocious. And Spike ended up like helping, Buffy, and stuff, and he ended up, spoiler alert, sacrificing himself to save Buffy and the Scooby Gang, who he called, the guy who played, I forget his name, the guy who played Giles as Buffy's mentor, who's sort of like her Alfred Pennyworth. He should have played Alfred in Batman. Because he, if you ever watch it, like Giles, I think that's his name. It's been a while since I've seen the show. He has sort of like this, he has the voice and stuff, like if you ever watch him, like I always thought like, man, he could play a good Alfred, because he sort of has that, he was basically Alfred in Buffy, because he sort of was that father figure, type person. And I remember they wanted to do a spin-off show with him training new hunters. I think that's what the show was called. And I always thought, like, man, that would have been an interesting concept and show, because he was so present in the show. Like, he was so, the strong supporting part of the show. And I always thought, like, that would be an interesting concept if it ever, like, did a spin-off show. And, once in a while Buffy pops up and shows up and gives us words of wisdom. But, damn. Yeah. And I remember, after, the ending of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Spike shows up in Angel, which made no sense. Even to this day, like, I watched it, like, that makes no sense. Like, they had him show up from dying in Buffy to appearing in the headquarters of Angel. And I was like, how in the hell can that even happen? I mean, Joss Whedon has to, like, stop and explain to me why and how that happened. It makes no sense. Still to this day, it makes no sense whatsoever. But anyway, back to the Batman. So, Aronofsky calls. I remember thinking, we're making two different films here? The true story, it was a different time. The Batman I wrote was definitely different type of take they ended up making. Where Christopher Nolan eventually got the gig and borrowed the elements of Frank Miller's Batman Year One comic. Aronofsky was a closer adaptation influence of the series, with the nods of Death Wish, The French Connection, and Taxi Driver. I would want to see that fucking film. I definitely would. Like, I love Death Wish. Like, Charles Bronson, Death Wish. Man. Like, the Bruce Willis version just was so clean. What I mean by it, it's so clean, but it's like so like action movie-ish. If you ever watch like the Charles Bronson Death Wish, that was a gritty, fucking violent film. Like, and they ended up they ended up making Death Wish 2, 3, I think 4. And it was so action movie-ish in a bad way. Like, they ended up making, sorry, I'm like rambling.
this is how I usually talk when I talk about movies. I sort of like go like they ended up using a lot of the Chuck Norris, Sylvester Stallone type movies and incorporated it into the Bronson Death Wish. Like they should have just stuck with the original like concept, like dark, gritty, violent, realistic type movie, but they didn't. I mean, I even talked about it like once, like the most hilarious thing was Bronson ends up shooting a mugger in the back and everybody in the neighborhood's like cheering out the window. Which was stupid. It was really stupid. Like it was so bad. Like, and if you ever watch like the Joker, then you watch like Death Wish, they do have like subways in it. Like and like the subway shooting of Joker sort of like reminded me of so much of Death Wish, where Joker shoots 3 Wayne employees. Like that reminded me so much of Death Wish when I watched it. I was just like, man, like, and it was so like realistic looking and just always aggravated me. French Connection Taxi Driver even had Miller himself on the script duties. Oh, Miller. Like, I am a Frank Miller fan, even though some people are like, you're a fan of Batman 66 and you like Miller. Totally two different opposites. I read the script. I didn't even know if I don't even know if it's actually Miller's script. Like, I'm not gonna go on Twitter or Instagram and be like, hey, is this your script? I would never ask him that, because I always thought that it would be kind of rude, because most people would be like, what script? It was an amazing thing, Aronofsky said, because I was a big fan of his graphic novel work. So just getting to meet him was exciting back then, the director recalls. Apparently, even the hard-boiled writer was shocked at how dark Aronofsky was looking to go, with Batman veering into the torture territory. The Batman was out before me. The Batman was out before me was Batman and Robin, the famous one with the nipples on the Batsuit. So I really was trying to undermine that and reinvent it, he explains. That's where my head went. In case Joaquin Phoenix was going from the Batman to eventual Joker, perhaps that agenda from the Dark Knight is true. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. It's kind of interesting how Phoenix. Part of me wanted to see how Phoenix would take Batman. There's Romeo, the cat I'm talking about. Oh man, don't go after another bird, dude. Wow, that is really cool. He's climbing up the tree. I'm talking on the microphone and watching him climb up the tree. He looks like a Black Panther up in a tree. Like, now he's sitting on the tree branch watching the next street over. Like, that is so cool. He literally looks like, you know those photos of like Black Panthers and like trees and stuff, how they're like laying on a tree branch? That is what it looks like. He looks like one of those. So anyway, so let's get to that next story. We talked about the Joker, we talked about everything. So, Kevin Smith does something really cool. Kevin Smith does it. Donny Cates. Donny Cates paid for everybody's pull list at a comic book store, just for the comic book stores and all that. Kevin Smith pays off the pull list at the secret stash. So Kevin Smith, I'm not going to take a jab at Kevin Smith. I like Kevin Smith, even though he blocked me on Twitter. I didn't do anything, which is kind of weird. I just gave my opinion. The last movies he did weren't... I mean, like, I enjoyed A and Silent Bob reboot. The Affleck scene was pretty cool. I sort of miss the show Comic Book Men. Like, I love Comic Book Men. Really good show. It's on Tubi TV. Like, you could watch it for free, which is really cool. This one's really interesting also. I want to take that note because it's appearing on here on Bleeding Cool. Universal Pictures has announced the reboot of The Green Hornet. The Green Hornet is a spin-off of the 60s Batman TV show, which is really cool. Laugh out loud, they are so weird. I'm sorry, I'm just distracted by the cat climbing. Now he's climbing down this small tree branch. That is so cool. That is so cool. Now he's looking at me like, what are you looking at, weirdo? Oh man, don't kill another bird. So, yeah, Comic Book Men is on Tubi TV. It's really cool. Like, I never watched a lot of reality shows, but I love that show. It was really good. Funny, quirky, weird, entertaining. And I watched the Wahlburgers, which I don't know why. So, yeah, I think those shows are on Tubi television. I mean, it's not weird as like I watched Moonshiners. I laughed and watched Amish Mafia, which is about, apparently the Amish had their own mafia, which was dumb. I don't know why. I was disappointed. I watched it. I remember watching it thinking, like, when I heard the two names Amish and Mafia in one word, in the title of a show, I immediately think of like horse buggy drive-bys. Like, I was hoping for two Amish dudes, one named Moses and the other named Jebediah. Moses driving, the horse buggy, and he tells Jebediah, "Get the Tommy gun ready," and they open up firing at at another horse buggy. I don't know why. I was hoping for that, but instead, I didn't get that. I didn't get, the Tommy gun horse buggy drive-by. Instead, we got two Amish dudes putting a trash bag near a cow's rear end, waiting for the cow to fart, tie the bag, use the fart bag to blow up a barn or shed or something, which was actually really entertaining. I never seen that before, and when I saw it, the first thing I thought was, damn. And because and I remember like watching it, and the producer of the show asked the dude who lit the fart bag, "Why did you do that?" And you can hear the producer sort of like chuckling, like laughing in his voice. You can hear in his voice like he wants to laugh, asking this question. And the Amish dude just sat there with a serious look, going like, well, cow farts have, a dangerous amount of, toxins to cause an explosion. And I just sat there going like, if I did this, I would have a damn good excuse of doing this. I'd be like, yeah, I like that fart bag, from a cow because that dude was full of cow shit. And that's what I would do. And that's how I would say it. Like, I would be like, this dude's full of cow shit, and I had to light that fart bag to prove a point. Like, that's what I would have done. But he didn't. Instead, he just explains how, he gives like the scientific, rational explanation of like how dangerous a cow fart is near a flame. Which I did not know that. Of course, if they did mention that in science class, then I totally went over my head. I was probably like laughing too much. But the show was so stupid that these people tried to convince everybody that this show was real. Everybody. Even though there was videos and evidence that these people were not Amish. Even though they were Amish. They tried a year outside the life of the Amish to see what it was like. And it's just like, one, I don't know much about the Amish. Even though my grandpa is a great admirer of the Amish and the Amish lifestyle. Except he won't do it. Because he likes TV. So, I just looked at this show. It was just like, this is so fake. Even though the dude whose name is Lebanon Levi wrote a book exposing the entire Amish lifestyle in the Amish community, it didn't sell well. So the show was just, it's on I think on Pluto TV, which is like, Pluto TV is like a cable TV which is free. They got like Nickelodeon, like many other network shows and all that, like Spike TV, or I think it was Spike TV is what it's called. I don't know. I think they went to Paramount TV, I think is what it's called now. But they got so many like different shows. Like, they have Unsolved Mysteries, which is like one of my favorite shows of all time. Hosted by Robert Stack, who starred in the show Untouchables, which is also one of my favorites. And the Addams Family's on there, like the original. So I enjoy it. There's another cat. And he's going after a bird. Hope you fly away, bird. Oh man, that's the one who fell out of the tree last time. Man, I'm gonna watch this cat fall. So, anyway, back to Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith pays for... Oh, it's Alfred. He's going after a bird. Oh, shit. So, anyway, Kevin Smith paid for a comic book pull list at the Secret Stash, which I think is really cool. Even though he owns the store. So basically he paid for everybody's pull list. Hold on, got it. So, anyway. That's what's going on. So here's another one that's pretty interesting. DC Comics has announced that they will be printing comics again, which is big news for a lot of comic book readers, such as myself. And a lot of people are not happy about this. A lot of publishers. Diamond is upset over DC Comics announcing they have new distributors. DC Comics has announced that they will distribute print comics for sale on Tuesday, April 28th. And sadly, I don't think I'd be buying comics because I didn't get my stimulus check. So I'm still waiting on that one. So hopefully one day I'll get it. So whatever. Anyway, Bleeding Cool ran a news that DC Diamond Comics distributors will be planning to return to distribute comics around mid to late May. But it seems that DC Comics has decided not to wait and will distribute print comic books to any comic book store that will accept them through a variety of new distributor partnerships message to comic book stores. Here's the thing about it. A lot of people are mad about this. I'm glad DC is taking the stand because this entirety is bullshit. I mean, people want to read books. I mean, here's the thing about it. Like, where I live, they're talking about all the way to June, the stay-at-home order. Which, I will say this, by beginning of May, I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Go anywhere I fucking want. And I'm not going to do a damn thing. What people tell me to do. I'm going to do whatever I want. So DC has announced that they will be releasing new comics for sale on April 28th. So Diamond distributors for sale from the 4th/1 to the 15th. At the beginning of this month to the 15th, they canceled all books, including upcoming titles for DC. So DC's just like, fuck it, we're going to do our own thing. We're going to get a new publisher. We're going to be doing everything we want. So, new comics will be on sale Tuesday, the 28th of April. Batman 89, the third printing. Batman Giant number 4. Which I'm excited. Like, I looked at the Giant books. Besides scaring the shit out of people at Walmart because they have gloves on. I had a mask and everything, but everyone's like, you need to wear gloves. Daft Brian, number 4 of 6. The Dreaming, Robin. Nightwing 70, the second printing. New comics for Tuesday, May 5th. Batman the Outsiders, DC Superstars edition, number 17. The Flash 753. Green Lantern Season 2, Book 3. Hawkman 23. House of Whispers 20. Joker Harley Quinn, Criminal Insanity, number 4/9. Who the fuck reads those books? Like, I'm sorry, I looked at Joker and Harley Quinn last time I went to a comic book store before they closed. That book looks fucking boring. It looks boring. A really, really boring looking book. I'm sorry, I know there's some people who love Joker and Harley Quinn. Alright, which is cool, but I prefer the Joker and Harley Quinn from Batman 66. If you ever read
if you ever read like the Harley Quinn origin story of Batman 66, it is really entertaining and funny and quirky. Which is funny though, when Harley Quinn admits that she's in love with the Joker, like Batman's expression's like, and he has an expression where he's like, "What?" And Harley Quinn sort of like points out Batman's attraction to Catwoman, which Harley Quinn goes, don't you ever want to help rehabilitate a criminal? And like Catwoman, Batman just has that look of like, which is funny though, because it's a very funny and quirky story, which I adore, and part of me just wishes Harley Quinn existed in the 60s, because that would have been so funny of an episode. But it is funny, and I think it's so amazing. Like, part of me just wants to write a Batman 66 story. Like, in my head, like, I have like thoughts of like, man, they did Batman 66 meets the Green Hornet. They did Wonder Woman 77, which is sort of like a ending for Batman 66, because Batman at that time retired after the Joker's death and Alfred's death, and he just retired. They did Batman 66 meets I have this book, Batman meets Steed and Mrs. Peel, from when DC and Boom did a collaboration, which is really cool. It's a really cool book, because Batman goes to Britain. Batman 66 meets Archie. So with all these cool books, part of me just was like, man, I would love to see Batman 66 meets the Flintstones. I always wanted to see Fred Flintstone meet Adam West Batman. I always wanted to see that. What would it be like? So, anyway, so I'm sorry, a Joker and Harley Quinn criminal insanity. I can't get into it. I really can't. I read the first pages online, and I was just like, I can't read this. This is I admire the writer wanting to do a crime thriller type story, which is sort of like a mixture of Seven and Hannibal. I respect that. I think that's cool. I'm sure there's some Harley Quinn and Joker fans who really dig it, but I can't read it. I can't read it. It just is not my cup of tea. I'm sorry. I like Joker and Harley as much. I like the 60s Joker. The Harley Quinn from the animated series, and the Joker from that one too. But I can't read it. When Joker looks like Dean Winchester wearing the Crow makeup and a long trench coat, it's stupid. It's stupid. I'm sorry. So, the 12th of May, Harley Quinn 72, Justice League 44, Justice League Odyssey 20, Lois Lane, number 10 of 12, Metalman, 6 of 12. So, let's see. Lauren Distributors will cover. Well, this is the new distributors that DC's teaming up with. Oh, my state's in this. Awesome. Let's see. UCS Comics Distributor, which is following areas for DC. Hopefully they'll so the new distributors will Diamond responds to DC's new distributors, where Batman is in number 92. So DC basically is like, fuck this, we're done with Diamond. That shut them up. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of a Ron White joke. Anyway,
I'm glad they are distributing books. Like, I ordered... It's kind of funny, though. I ordered a Batman book on Amazon, and it won't be here. It's like the 21st or 23rd, so... Yeah, that's right. I ordered a new Batman book. I have not... I don't know when it's getting here. Let me check on Amazon. Like, I ordered two things on Amazon, which is weird. I ordered the DC Comics water, which is oddly enough supposed to be here. It's out in delivery. Damn, Amazon, you're quick. Oh shit, it's on its way. Amazon's delivering my case of water, which I never bought on Amazon before, which is DC Comics water, which has... I'll basically review it, like, even though I don't have it on me. So it's going to be here between 8 or 10 a.m., so, where I live. So, the new DC 100% recycled plastic, 100% recyclable water, it includes collect them all, 4 different variant covers of water bottle. They got Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Shazam. Nestle Pure Life Water. I wish they had Catwoman. That's what saddens me. Like they have, like, I'll admit, like, it's pretty cool, but I would love to drink water from Catwoman. Okay, that didn't sound right, but yeah. So, anyway. So, yeah, I would love to drink water from Catwoman, so, yeah. I never realized Amazon delivers quickly. So, you know what, I'm happy that... What? Drink water from Catwoman. Alright. Yeah, that's what I would love. So. You know, I wonder who is behind the decision at DC to, like, go with new publishers. I kind of imagine Jim Lee was, like, the one. So. So, anyway, trying to get to this article and it's not loading up, so hold on. I'll just get to Newsarama. Intel retailers' reaction to distributor plan is mixed by DC, which involves Midtown Comics. Newsarama continues to receive reaction from retailers over DC's plan for new publishers beginning April 28th via of 2 new distributors. I will say this, I support DC's idea. I mean, they're not going the same route that Marvel did, where Disney fired some Marvel employees, which... Holy shit, cat, you're up there high in that tree. Sorry. That cat really wants that bird. I better wrap it up quickly before, I don't want no dead birds in my yard.
So, for me, what happened with Marvel sucks. Marvel, Disney, of course, announced that they were letting go a bunch of writers and artists. Mostly writers, I think, for their books. And writers now who can handle 2 books or more are now handling the full writing for Marvel. And the thing is, it sucks. It really, really sucks for the writers there. That a lot of them got let go and stuff. So, and a lot of the writers are blaming fans for this, because they're claiming the fans are celebrating this. And it's like, how would fans celebrate that writers are let go? Anyone who's let go, it sucks. And here's the thing about it. A lot of people are not like cheering like, yeah, writers got fired at Marvel. A lot of people are more worried about themselves than they are about what's going on at Marvel. And the thing about it is, it sucks. I feel bad for them. I don't read Marvel books. I don't buy Marvel books because I don't like Marvel that much, to be quite honest with you. And I'm not the biggest Marvel fan, or Marvel fanboy. I'm really not. I'm a DC Comics person. I prefer DC books over Marvel. It's the same goes with the movies and stuff. Like, I will defend some DC movies, but some of them I really can't defend. I can't defend Justice League. I'm sorry. I really can't. I look at that movie, I'm just like, I can't defend this. Batman is smiling. That is wrong on so many levels. I felt bad for Ben Affleck for that movie. Ben Affleck was not in a good place when that movie was made. But I will defend Batman 66 to the end of how awesome that show is. So, when it comes to like Marvel and stuff, I feel bad for a lot of the writers. You shouldn't. I mean, like, here's the thing about it. Like, a lot of them are defending. A lot of the writers there who were let go, unfortunately, is blaming the Comics Gate, which is a lot of the people who don't like being lectured or being told, like, they don't like force identity politics down everybody's throat. Nobody doesn't like force identity politics. I don't like, identity politics being forced on by anybody. I don't like that. I think it's stupid. You can't really blame those people. You blame Disney. And I knew it was going to happen, with them. Because Disney started it with the theme park workers, the cast members. Disney fired some of the cast members and they cut their pay badly. Because Disney is hurting now. They're hurting in the wallet. Because a lot of the movies like Black Widow, Mulan, many other movies that Disney is involved in are not being released in theaters. Because people aren't going to the movie theaters. Of course, it was Disney's going to be going, cutting down everything that they have. Because a lot of people aren't buying their Disney Plus. They're going to Netflix. And it showed that Netflix is profiting more money than Disney. Or Netflix is worth more than Disney now. And that's pretty bad for Disney. And I'm like I said before, I am not the biggest Disney fan. I don't like Disney that much. again, like, I grew up watching Looney Tunes, so so yeah, I mean, like, it was going to happen. And, you know, don't be surprised when Disney lets go Pixar animators or Disney animators or whatever. Don't be surprised about it. I mean, here's the thing about it, like, when a company is hurting, when a big multi-billion-dollar company is working, they're going to cut the employees' wages or let go of the employees. The CEOs at the top are not going to get a pay cut. They're going to stay the same. They're going to be in a safe bubble. I mean, hell, that's what happened with WWE. A lot of, you know, performers and producers and all that at WWE, a lot of them got fired. A lot of the, like, Gallows and Anderson surprised me the most. Because they were in the main event with AJ Styles and The Undertaker. Like, that surprised me that Gallows and Anderson was let go. That surprised me. Like, Eric Young, EC3, Drake Maverick, WWE, you know, WWE shot themselves in the foot not pairing Drake Maverick and EC3 together. They did great Impact, man. But I mean, it's happening the worst, like, to Vince McMahon out of everything, because he let go of the XFL. There's not going to be another season for the XFL, which means I will not get to see another Battlehawks football game, which pissed me off. I was upset. Like, I was more upset about that when, you know, than the Rams leaving St. Louis. And oddly enough, Vince McMahon is now on the Economics Council, Donald Trump, which didn't explain much. I'll be right back real quick. I'm going to check something, and I think it's one of my Amazon packages delivered. So, yeah, it is. I'll be right back real quick. I'm going to play this song. I'll be right back. Yep. Good job, Lilo. Alright, let me open up this package. Hold on. Alright, I know, Lilo. Alright, the water arrived. So, okay, Lilo. Lilo's excited. So the water bottles are pretty cool looking. The Nestle Pure Life Justice League water arrived in the mail. It's supposed to arrive tomorrow, but they arrived early, which surprised me. Let's see, there's Superman, Wonder Woman. My Catwoman would love this. She's a big fan of Wonder Woman. Like and Lola found her box. Wow, there's 2 Supermans and 2 Wonder Womans. And Batman. These are really cool. I will admit, like, these water bottles are really, really cool looking. Because you can, like, they're on Amazon. You can buy them on Amazon, have them delivered. That's what I did. I never bought water. Like, I was kind of at the point where I was like, you know what? We're gonna have to start buying toilet paper online. So these are really cool. I really dig them. Like, they're, right-sized bottles of water, and I really like them. I like the designs. You can put a flashlight through it, and a symbol will like shine through. So you got Shazam, another Wonder Woman, and another Superman. So anyway, yeah, I really hold on. So I kind of dig it. It's really cool looking bottles and stuff. Yeah. Even though the box says "Make drinking water fun for kids." Well, I bought it for me. Because, I really like it. I think it's really cool. I like the bottle designs. I really do. Like, Justice League, DC, Nestle Pure Life Water. So, anyway, wow, I guess we did a product review. I guess. So anyway, let's get to the Target story. I want to talk about something that happened. I got kicked out of a Target. Well, not kicked out. I got banned from Target. I went into Target like any other ordinary American looking for toilet paper, because we're at that part of life where we have to look for toilet paper. It's the way of life. I feel like a caveman. Instead of hunting a mammoth, I'm hunting down toilet paper. So I went into Walmart. Couldn't find it. I couldn't find toilet paper. I found wet wipes. Wet wipes aren't bad. They're not. I I just didn't want wet wipes. I wanted toilet paper. I was tired of a wet tushy, so I wanted regular toilet paper. Couldn't find it. But I grabbed the wet wipes anyway. It's like, might as well grab it before it runs out. So, I leave Walmart. My dad's with me, by the way. We leave Walmart. I was annoyed. I was annoyed by Walmart. Besides the part where you can't go down the same aisle as somebody. You have to wait. You have to wait. Or when you go down the Lego aisle looking for something that, something to do for your mind. So you don't have to watch television and have your mind melted by the news and all that. Instead, you can't get Legos. I mean, I did get Legos. I got the little DC Lego miniature figures, which are really cool, by the way. I got several of them. I got Aquaman, Bumblebee, Batman. My nephew got the, he got like Batmite. I bought my nephew's one. I bought my youngest nephew one because I thought he might get a kick out of it. Since I found like Batman, I was like, I think he'd get a kick out of it. And he got like Cyborg, Bumblebee, Aquaman, Batmite. Yeah, I might buy more of them because like they have like they don't have Catwoman, which sucks, man. I would love to have. Like I have the Catwoman Lego from the Lego Movie, which is funny though because Catwoman, who is voiced by Zoe Kravitz, is playing Catwoman in the Batman movie. So anyway, yeah. Besides besides the part where I was down there looking, and all of a sudden this one dude was so snooty he didn't want to walk down the aisle, so he had to get like a Walmart worker to ask me to leave the aisle so he can look. That pissed me off. I wanted to stay there and see if he found something. I would walk over to it and like cough on it and just walk off. Like I wanted to do that, but I realized if you do that you get arrested. So I was just like, it ain't worth it. So I wanted to do that, just like. So anyway, to Target. We went to Target. Target is like the last store on God's green earth I would ever go to. But I had to. Just to look for toilet paper. And now I will never go into Target. Because I am not allowed in Target. So, I go into Target. And mind you, this might upset and offend people. And let me tell you, I have nothing against people who decide to wear clothing of the opposite sex. Okay, if you're into that, you're into that. Whatever floats your boat. So, we walk from the toilet paper aisle to the electronics aisle because I decided, like, you know what, I can't find fucking toilet paper. Might as well find something since I'm in this stupid ass store. Couldn't find anything in the Batman. They had Batman toys, but I was just like, I have those. I don't need them. I have the little Batman figure, I have that. So, I go walking through this stupid ass store. Overpriced. They have an entire section dedicated to Stranger Things, which I never understood the obsession with it. I really don't. And they have the Office stuff, so I look at the Office stuff. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. They have the Dundie Award, which kind of made me laugh, because it made me think of the part where Pam got drunk in TGI. I think it was TGI Fridays. Pam got drunk, and she was like celebrating. She had like the Dundie, and she screams at the camera. That was my favorite Jim and Pam moment. So, speaking of Jim, I read that he's in talks of playing Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four film, which I am for that. I think he'd be great as Mr. Fantastic. Him and his wife, Emily. I forget her name. Emily Blunt, I think is her name. I don't remember. She was in the one movie, A Quiet Place. I think they would be perfect as Reed and Sue in Fantastic Four. Then you bring in Rainn Wilson Dwight to voice the Thing. That'd be perfect. Perfect. Because, I mean, like, you can write, like I love the, you know, Ben and Reed are like, you know, opposites. They're like brothers, but they're, you know, they take jabs at each other and stuff. Like, I would love that. I would love to see, like, Dwight and Jim moments in the Fantastic Four. Like, that would be awesome. That'd be really awesome. I would love to see that. You know, like, I mean, that's who I would pick. You know, like, if, you know, out of the three so far. As for Johnny Storm, you know, I don't know who could play him. I really don't. You need somebody who is sarcastic and witty. You know, that's who you need for Johnny in that movie. You know, and I'm a fan of the Fantastic Four, and you know, I think, like, even though I'm not the biggest Marvel nerd, I really liked the comics and the animation where they appeared in the Spider-Man cartoon. You know, as for the X-Men, I can't think of who can play. Like, I said it before once in one episode. If I could cast, like, one person to play Magneto, it would be Alan Rickman. Because Alan Rickman had that voice. And he had the look. If you ever watch him in, like, Die Hard or the Harry Potter films, he just has that very Magneto-esque quality. Like, he's very stoic, very serious, doesn't let anybody get in his way. Like, that's kind of how Magneto to me is. Like, I wish he would have played Magneto. Like, I mean, for the guy who played Magneto in the X-Men films after Ian McKellen, that dude should play Mr. Freeze. I forget his name. Man. Like, that dude would play. Like, I would love to see, like, a Mr. Freeze solo movie, like what they did with Joker, and just have that dude play Victor Freeze, and you sort of, like, watch him be this successful scientist in Gotham, and he's trying to save his wife, Nora, and during this whole time, you sort of watch this dude sort of, like, do things that he would not want to do, like rob jewelry stores, not rob banks and all that, like, and just try to get the right materials and stuff to save Nora. And he has to, like, kill somebody, which kind of, I always thought, like, Victor Freeze would never kill anybody, but if you put something in his way, he would do it. I always thought that, like, but at the same time, it would just haunt him. Like, he would be like, I can't believe I just killed somebody. Like, I would love to see, you know, a Victor Freeze movie, you know, and Warner Brothers should do it. Like, I mean, you did it with Joker, just, like, fuck it, just do it with other characters. Like, they talked about wanting to do a Lex Luthor movie. It's just like, no. Lex Luthor is fucking boring. Like, if you're gonna do a Superman villain, do General Zod. Okay, just do that film. You know? But, anyway, time to wrap up the show. We'll be back tomorrow, I think, to do another morning show. I mean, right now I want to do like 2 shows a week, unfortunately. Because during the week I have like a lot of stuff to do. I'm writing stuff now, like, like, for example, I'm writing the Gotham Undead story. We're doing Arkham High. Me and my Catwoman, we're collaborating on a comic. So we're doing that comic book. We're just, sort of doing new books and new stories, ideas and stuff. So that's what we're doing. We're basically just doing that. And we'll be back. We'll be, working on the podcast and stuff. I know I was supposed to finish up the Alfred in Wonderland. We'll just do that tomorrow. We'll just do an episode reading Alfred in Wonderland. We'll do the Snow Queen story and Batman Tales Once Upon a Crime, which is a good book, by the way. I highly, highly recommend it. It's one of those entertaining, like, fairy tale stories. So, anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. Anyway, I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye. Wash your hands, too, by the way.